let's deal with the transfer window news to start with, because there's been quite a lot. Brandon Cooper, defender in from Swansea. How big a capture is he?
I think it's really good. I had a conversation with Russ Martin at Swansea just a couple of weeks ago, and he recommended him really highly. Said we really like him. He's obviously off the back of 3 loans. He's been at Yeovil, then at Newport, then at Swindon, so it's not a first loan for him. Everybody that we'd spoke very highly of the way he was on those loans that he's done before, and I think obviously with Christian Marquez going back to Wolves and Jordan Moore-Taylor injured, it was really key that we managed to get somebody in that area that can add to the defensive unit, and I think Brandon does that.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of covering Jordan Moore-Taylor there and replacing Christian Marquez. What do you see him as, or is he just a defender who goes into the mix? And obviously, you've got your Udoka Godwin-Malief back as well. Yeah,
I see him as, of course, comes in to compete, to play like everybody else. Ollie Casey came in on loan, and we had the same situation. We looked at a young player coming in as a defender and how would he influence the defensive line, and I think Ollie's been excellent. I mean, you consider it's been a tough period for the team, and I think Ollie's really gave a great account of himself and developed as a football player. Despite the results at times, he's done very well. Brandon is in the same position now. He comes in to compete, to play directly in the team.
And you've managed to keep Miles Peart-Harris until the end of the season. How big is that? Because he seems to be growing into what you're doing at Forest Green.
I think it's huge. I honestly, I've had a brilliant dialogue with Brentford the whole way through. Stephen Presley and the guys linked to Brentford and Brentford B have been brilliant. They contact us a lot regarding his development. They support us in what we're doing. And I spoke with both Brentford and Miles, and a lot comes down to the player's choice at the end of the day. I think Miles would have had plenty of other opportunities if he decided not to stay on at Forest Green, but Miles was absolutely clear that he wanted to stay here, willing to fight, be a part of the team. I think for a loan player that's very, very good, because it's easy for a loan player to walk away, given the option when times are tough, but I think it shows great character of Miles Peart-Harris that he says he wants to be here, he wants to continue his development and play. I think that's a fantastic sign from the boy.
And Fiekra Padgel, I hope I've pronounced that right, goalkeeper, is presumably going back on loan instantly. He's one for the future from Drogheda.
Yeah, you pronounce that better than I do, so thanks for that. Listen, he came in and trained with us, and he's a big boy and he's a good goalkeeper and a lot of potential there. But yeah, he goes back, finishes his education over in Ireland and continues to play there, and he'll be ready in the summer. And again, we'll just add depth to that position there.
You've lost Connor Wickham and Harry Boyes, no surprise with Connor Wickham, but to lose Harry as well, especially having initially signed him on a full season loan, how big a blow is that?
Yeah, it's a blow, but at the same time, I think Carl McAllister's been outstanding in that role at left wing back at times. So I think that Sheffield United had the option to recall, potentially send him somewhere else. I think that he has played, but has also come off and sometimes not played in every game, and maybe they see that there's an avenue for him to develop somewhere else and get more minutes somewhere else, and that's absolutely fine. That's the club's prerogative. So for us, we have Carl McAllister. We may still look to add in that area with Harry leaving, just to make sure that we're well covered, but I'm more than happy with when Carl McAllister plays at wing back in there.
And with Connor Wickham going, does that now just give you certainty? Because everyone's been talking about that probably now for the last month.
Yeah, and we've had a good dialogue, and Connor's a good lad, and he came in initially on a short-term loan. He's contributed enormously, but it's not to be extended, and that's okay. That's normal when a player signs for this period of time. His contract's run out, and he wants to see what the future holds elsewhere, and that's okay. We're grateful for the work that he put in, and I think he's also, I spoke to him yesterday, and he's very grateful for the work that we've got him going and playing probably more football than he has done for a long while. So I think the relationship worked for both parties, but we've got clarity on that, and it gives us an opportunity moving forwards, because it was so early in January, that we can look at other potential options in that position.
You expect to do any more business before the weekend?
Yes, I do. I do.
Can you tell us any more? Would that be an in or an out?
Ins, yeah, we're still looking at bringing one or two. We're working with one or two, but how far along they are, look, it's really early in the window. But we've had some really good dialogues with clubs regarding players, so I think it's really important. You can see just we've had one or two outgoings already. We will look to maybe loan one or two that haven't had the minutes that they want out. That means that we probably do need some players that come in, and I do feel like it's been a really tough first half of the season, and the players it can affect them. So getting fresh energy into the building and giving new enthusiasm to the team is really important. So I think it's no surprise that we're looking to add a few. If we can get them done by the weekend, that's great. But the most important thing is that we get the right ones in to help us for the rest of the season.
The Cup has been good for you this season. Obviously, you've played two non-league teams to get this far, but how valuable can that be, just as being able to switch off from the league and just go and perform?
I think all of the cup competitions have given us that platform. You know, the initial, we beat Leyton Orient at home 2-0 in the Carabao. That gave us a little spring, gave us an opportunity to look at different things. The Brighton game was obviously a really fun game to be able to be a part of and test ourselves against that level. And even the Papa John's games have given us that little break from the league and a window of opportunity for others to play and have a look at different systems and shapes and players. And like I say, it's a different mindset when you move away from the league. So I think it's been healthy for us. The cup competitions this year, it's great. I think it's the third time. You could correct me, but I think it's only the third time the club's been at this point of the FA Cup. So it's good. We want to see if we can go another step further forward. But of course, it's a big challenge against a very good team.
Yeah, what's it going to take to cause an upset? Because that's what it would be, wouldn't it? League One beating Championship. I guess everyone's got to be on their game and hope that Birmingham have an off day.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, of course, if Birmingham come and play absolutely at their 100% best, it's a challenge because they're a good Championship side and they've got some really talented players that have been international footballers, players with vast experience like Troy Deeney, John Ruddy. These sort of guys have played at the very, very highest level. So it's of course a tough challenge if they're on their A game, but we have to give ourselves the best opportunity, and that's to be on our A game, to play at 100%, and of course then we might be able to affect the outcome of the game.
They're not a million miles away in terms of geography. They've come down to Forest Green quite a bit in pre-season friendlies. Does that mean that they'll know as a club plenty about Forest Green as well? And obviously, there's a few ex-Birmingham youth players who've ended up at Forest Green over the years.
Yeah, with a few Blues in the camp, and I think March is a villain as well, so there's a little bit of tension in there. But yeah, do you know what? They've got good coaches and they've got good infrastructure. I'm sure they're gonna have done their research on us. They won't be underestimating us one bit. So they'll be extremely well organised, ready for us, no doubt about that. So and likewise, we get a lot of good footage of Championship, and we've had the benefit of seeing them in the last couple of games. So we feel well prepared as well.
Yeah, they have lost the last three in the Championship. What do you make of their current form?
Yeah, they'll be a bit disappointed with that, but I still think first part of the season they've done well. Of course, they've lost last three, but so have we. So they're a little dip in form, but the Championship is a brutal league. It's relentless and a lot of games at super high intensity. And when you play 3 games in quick succession, like we have, probably 14 days ago we were talking about turning a corner and being in a positive place, and then you play 3 games in quick succession with not quite the right outcome, and suddenly everything, the shine's taken off of what you'd done just before that. So they probably feel that a little bit, but I still think, look, they're well placed in the Championship at the moment, and will be a very difficult team to play against.
You've been training at Cirencester today. What's been the reason for that?
The pitches we're struggling a little bit just with the volume of rain that we've had down at the training ground, so the main pitch was quite heavily flooded, and the second pitch that we use also was bad condition yesterday. So Cirencester are brilliant when we need to come down here. They open the doors for us. Fantastic club that help us out, and we used the 3G down here and trained out on that today. Hopefully the groundsmen are doing some good work down at Chippenham, and we'll be down there on Friday.
I'm sure he's laying off the pot noodles. Injuries, how's the squad?
The squad's good. It's looking healthier every day. Reece Brown trained today, which was a bonus. He's not too far away now. So I think the majority of the players are feeling good, and most are available now.